Taking away some of the pain of the trade battle, the Trump administration is announcing a $12 billion emergency aid package for farmers who've been hurt by tariffs. While the president insists his policies will help farmers in the long run, the GOP senators, some GOP senators, are skeptical of this aid.
The farmers will be the biggest beneficiary. Watch. We're opening up markets. You watch what's going to happen. Just be a little patient.
It's a lot of money, $12 billion. We're talking B, but compared to what the farmers lose over time, it's not. I mean, the notion that you're going to replace this, and the farmers don't want aid; they want markets.
When you start playing this insurance policy that there will be no pain in tariffs, I'm not so sure it's going to work, because once you start, where do you stop?
Joining us right now is Agriculture Secretary Sonny Perdue. Mr. Secretary, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Maria. How are you?
I'm doing well. So you just heard Lindsey Graham and a number of other senators, the pushback on this aid, not coming from just lawmakers. Here's what soybean farmer Ron Heck said on this program earlier this month. Listen to this.
These tariffs are ill-conceived and totally inappropriate, using food as a weapon, raising the price of food to the Chinese people, and devastating United States farmers is a lose-lose situation for everyone. Farmers want trade, they don't want aid.
There you go, Secretary. Trade, not aid. Your reaction?
Absolutely, farmers want trade. There's not a farmer in this country that'd rather not have a good crop and a fair price. The problem is they haven't been getting fair prices because of the restrictions that other countries place on their productivity. And the President Trump is the first one to call them on that. China's been cheating for years, and no one's called their hand. It's like watching a game where the umpire is clearly prejudiced and no one stops him. That's what's happening here.
Yeah, I was reading your comments earlier. You're calling this illegal retaliation.
Absolutely.
Didn't the U.S. start this fight?
The U.S. started this by calling that. The negotiations had taken place. The response should be for China to stop their unfair trade practices like intellectual property theft. That's even happened in agriculture, stealing corn seeds in Iowa, those kind of things, as well as forced transfer. That's the appropriate response, not creating a file and then filing somebody at the foul line. That's what's happening here with China.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying about China, because they have been stealing us for years. But that's not the only country getting impacted here. You're talking about tariffs on the EU. You're talking about tariffs on Mexico and on Canada. So it's not just China.
Well, let's deal with the EU. Frankly, there are more non-tariff barriers for the EU for American producers. All American farmers want is a level playing field. Our productive farmers and ranchers in this country could outproduce anyone in the country, in the world, and they would if they had a level playing field. That's what President Trump is trying to get, and it's not there. The EU is one of the offenders. Even our neighbors, Canada and Mexico, have not played fair. Canada, as you know, charges tariffs of 250 to 300% on some of our products, and they have open access to our markets.
Yeah, but when does it stop? I mean, this $12 billion aid you're calling temporary, but if we see retaliation from other sectors, are you going to have to do aid? Is the government going to have to dole out more aid for technology, for auto, for every sector out there, basically?
This is the temporary measure for agricultural producers. It's authorized in the USDA and part of their rules, and we're using that to temper this. This is a temporary measure, hopefully to show China and other countries they cannot bully the U.S. into caving in on unfair trade practices. That's exactly what President Trump's strategy is, and I think it will work. And certainly we'd rather have trade rather than aid and restore these markets, but not at unfair practices.
So what's plan B if they don't stop? They're going to continue retaliating.
That's their decision, and I think, again, the pain will get worse on them going forward, as the President said. You see the EU is in town today looking to negotiate and talk about these things. We think we're very close to an agreement with Mexico, and oftentimes it's not comfortable doing this, and the President doesn't like to do this, but when people don't play fair, you've got to throw the flag.
So tell us the details on this aid package. $12 billion. When will this be instituted? How soon will farmers feel it?
The details will come out in probably mid to late August, and the program begins after Labor Day, September the 4th, when farmers are able to sign up there. There will be a portion of payments directly for row crops like soybeans and corn and wheat and sorghum, and even some dairy and some pork payments there. And then for the rest of the money, we will buy those commodities and redistribute them to food banks and school nutrition programs there. Thirdly, there's a program about creating more different markets, the markets where we can go in and have a level playing field.
Are you surprised that these countries are targeting many of the states that voted for Donald Trump?
No, these are smart. These are smart political people. They know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to bully the president politically, and you hear some of the comments from Congress. That's what's happening. Is that they're politically they're playing a game, and we expect that to continue.
But are you playing a game also? I mean, the timing of this right before the midterm elections. I mean, is there any reason to believe that this idea that everybody's going to drop all tariffs is based on any reality? I mean, is the president really expecting that? That's what he tweeted last night.
I think that's exactly right. I think this is not a political game. This is President Trump doing exactly what he told farmers he would do. He knew there would be some discomfort and some disruption going in when he had to place the tariffs on there. He knew agriculture would be retaliated against because we have a surplus in agriculture. Our farmers are some of the most productive in the world, and we export more than we import, and therefore the farmers and agricultural products are always at the tip of the spear when retaliation comes.
And real quick before you go, Secretary, when would you expect us to have a realistic picture of how this is going to play out? How long are we going to be playing this?
We hope to have a deal with Mexico very soon, restore that part of NAFTA. We're hopeful that Canada will then see the president is serious about this. They need to play more fairly and get a deal with Canada, and then move on and have China as well. We think there are discussions going on there with China now, and a lot of things you see in public is different than what you see in private.
And what do you think the president wants to get out of Juncker today at the White House from the EU?
I think he wants to remove the non-trade tariffs and agricultural products as well as other products. The EU has a huge economy, and they only import a smidgen from the United States. We are capable of producing a product their customers want, and President Trump simply wants to level the playing field. Autos are a great example, and that's their juggler.
But we do charge 25% on light trucks, right?
On light trucks, that's correct.
Secretary, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you, Maria.
Secretary Sonny Perdue joining us.